Hello and welcome to World Talks. I'm your host, Diana Skaya. In today's episode, we delve into the critical discussions shaping Europe's defense landscape. Now, recently, key defense ministers from across the European Union convened in Warsaw under the leadership of EU Foreign Affairs Chief Kaja Kallas and Polish Defense Minister Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz. This informal council meeting brought together senior officials from NATO and the EU, underscoring the urgent need for collective security in light of the ongoing war in Ukraine. Joining me now on World Talks to provide valuable insights about this meeting and more is Colonel Zdzisław Śliwa, Dean of the Baltic Defence College. Colonel Śliwa holds a PhD in military science from the National Defense University in Warsaw and is well equipped to share his expertise on these important topics. Welcome to the program. So glad to have you with us here this morning.
Thank you very much, Madam, for inviting.
So let's begin with the latest here. Can you give us a little overview of some of the key takeaways and outcomes from this recent informal council meeting in Warsaw? I mean, what were the main points of agreements among the defense ministers? What should we really pay attention to here?
That informal, I would say rather formal meeting of ministers of defense of European Union has been a very important event for Poland. It was strongly highlighted when EU Commissioner Andrius Kubilius was introducing himself. He highlighted the importance of Poland, but also importance of working and talking together. What is very important, it was co-sharing, not only by him, it was also Kaja Kallas, EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, and Polish Minister of Defense, Minister Kosiniak-Kamysz. It was very important in that sense that EU presidency by Poland is marked by signing white paper and also the concept of rearmed Europe or Readiness 2030. It means that from formalizing a document, the time has come to make a decision. And this is a kind of implementation phase of that project. We had a chance to see all ministers. It means there is a consensus among nations to work together, to implement together, because it is connected with preparing for the future. There is also a concept which was planned in 2013, which is discussion about European Union strategic autonomy. It was a concept 2013-2023. And strategic autonomy means also independence in that sense of ensuring security of the nations. So what is very important, there's clear message. Ukraine is important, will stay with us, and European Union will support Ukraine with all possible capacities now and in the future, which is, I would say, strongly very important message. So this is time to decide. I would like to mention also a little that meeting, a little in broader context, looking from Polish perspective. Poland currently has been recognized as very important actor. We remember last year, Premier Tusk was invited to Nordic Baltic 8 meeting. Now we have reinstitution of Weimar Triangle. Now it's Weimar Plus, including also next to Poland, France and Germany, also Spain, Italy and United Kingdom. So it means Polish voice matters. And for me, having such a meeting in Warsaw has also a kind of symbolic meaning. At the same time, we have summit of ministers of foreign affairs again. Mm-hmm. So it's not only defense, it's not only security, but also political support during such time of uncertainty.
So let me ask you this. You mentioned quite a lot of important factors here, but you did, in the beginning, you talked about the white paper on European defense. You mentioned that was a topic of discussion. What are its main objectives? What details can you give us about that? How does it aim to, for instance, reshape European defense strategies?
Oh, it's very important because, first of all, we have funding. The funding, which is, it was mentioned by also Kaja Kallas, we are talking about 800 billion euros. Out of that, 150 billion will be in loans. The point is that we have funds allocated. The point is another, how that money will be allocated, because it is also linked with raising budget of respective nations. Currently, as it was mentioned in previous interventions, we have tariffs, we have economic war is mentioned also in that context. And we are expecting maybe a recession. How that money will be get, it's another story.
So how will it be allocated? If you can tell us, how will it be allocated then?
First of all, we are talking about building military capacities of each single nation, because like it is happening in Poland, Poland is now really strong provider of security. It's not only just a participant, it's provider of security, being bordering nation. At the same time, Poland is leading by example, by building armed forces, building capacity, and that money should be also invested in European military industry, which is a very important factor. And in that context, also European nations could cooperate closer with the military industry in Ukraine. So first of all, building military capacities, but also not only capacity, building also resilience of societies to invest in law enforcement entities, like we have now a hybrid war on our border by Russia. So there's a lot of options to invest that money. But first of all, it should be coordinated. It should be synchronized, not to duplicate any capacities. What is very important, reliance on U.S. Military industry should go down. It means Europe should more rely on our capacities. As I mentioned, that strategic autonomy means also lack of reliance on other actors.
But there is, though, concern about the EU's defense industrial base. What steps do you think that Europe is going to be able to take together to ensure that, just like you said, to kind of start relying away from the United States and focusing on building a possible structure together? So how can Europe meet its own defense needs?
It is already ongoing. Military industry is slightly shifting the focus. Just lately, for example, Porsche company, which was well known for military capacity production in the past, now they are shifting to drone production. We have a Polish armament group, which is increasing military capabilities, military production. We had lately discussion about ammunition in Poland, and other European Union nations are in lead. We have companies like Rheinmetall, which decided to invest also in factories in Ukraine. By the way, as you remember, Chief Executive Officer of Rheinmetall was a target for Russian services in the past. Luckily, it not happened, but it means Russia is also seeing that European capacities are growing. It means they want to hit it in any possible way.
What do you believe, I mean, if we're going forward, sir, what do you believe are the most urgent priorities for European defense in the next couple of years moving forward, and how can member states work together? It's becoming a unity, I believe, is becoming such an important factor right now, particularly after Trump's administrative decisions, particularly in slapping tariffs and so forth. So how do you see that evolving?
First of all, we are talking about any kind of guarantees for Ukraine in that sense. U.S. guarantees, it was mentioned already weeks ago. This is what Ukraine was asking for, and there is nothing yet. Europe should think how to ensure such guarantees. In any peace, if any peace will be achieved in Europe, like frozen conflict, it is dangerous, because what we see now, even it was mentioned by General Cavalli, Russian military industry is in full speed. We have now conscription. About 160,000 people will be embedded into armed forces to create the units to replace some combat capacities in the front line, and those will be ready in autumn to attack again. We had such principles: air defense, ammunition, artillery, long-range artillery. The needs are really huge. In that context, such meeting of Minister of Defense in Warsaw, it's very important because it is allowing to do any kind of coordination. And what is also important, European Union is not only supporting Ukraine militarily, it is also about political support, humanitarian support, and funding. What about frozen money? Why Europe is not doing it? Of course, it's more complicated because we are a democratic nation showing respect to international law compared to Russia.
I mean, on that, so, okay, you're saying it's about respect, but why is Europe not doing that? If you can just tell us, what about those frozen assets?
I think it's a legal problem. As I mentioned, Europe is following all legal bases compared to Russia. And there's also lack of consensus among European nations. There are some nations who are afraid of using it because of political reasons, thinking that Russia could react back. So the point is, law is respected. We are respected. It takes time. We are talking about huge money, 300 billion euros. And it should be used. But of course, it's a top-level political decision which will definitely take place.
Thank you so much, retired Colonel Zdzisław Śliwa, Dean of the Baltic Defence College, for all your input this morning on such a developing topic that we will definitely pay more close attention to. Thanks for being with us.
Greetings from Estonia, the country which is currently celebrating the month for all those wounded in wars. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being with us. And that's all for this edition of World Talks here on TVP World. I'm Diana Skaya. Thanks for watching.